Hi guys, welcome to the Art Barn Studio. My name is Brandon Lawson. So today's paint along is a simple lion. If you can draw circle, squares, rectangle, triangles, most of the basic shapes and some lines, then you're gonna find this paint along to be super easy. Also, I kept it down to, I believe, 3 colors, oranges, yellows, and then I used a permanent marker on top of that. So go grab your supplies, meet me back here so we can draw our lion. Don't forget, I have my step-by-step drawing guide. If you can't see the lines that I'm drawing with my piece of chalk, make sure you download and print out the guide so you can see what I'm drawing as I'm drawing it on the video. Okay, we're gonna be painting a lion together. So here is what I have ready. I have my 8x10 canvas. It is vertical. I have a piece of chalk and a permanent marker, which we'll use the beginning and the end. I do not have a foam brush today. I love using foam brushes for the first step, but I've run out of foam brushes. So I have a large flat brush, which is going to be how I add the background because it's the biggest brush I have. And then I have a smaller round brush that will add the details. Paper towel, water, and then my plate. And I have 2 shades, or I have a shade of orange. It's like a pumpkin, it's called. And then a deep yellow and a medium yellow. Again, oranges and yellows, any shades we'll use to add the details. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint my whole canvas that, let's see, I believe the deep yellow shade. So I'm going to grab my large brush. And your one thing you do want to remember is that your canvas has edges. So if you are painting, you want to paint the edges of your canvas, and you probably want to cover your workspace because as you lay it back down, the edges will be touching your workspace. So remember to spread it all out so we don't have any chunks left, so it will take longer to dry. So let's get moving on this. Okay, now that you have your base color, this deep yellow, again, I'm just making sure it's spread out and there's no white splotches left. Paintbrush, go ahead and gently bounce this. If you're using a foam brush, you can just toss it in the trash. That's the great thing about foam brushes. But since I do not have one, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce it off the bottom gently, get all that yellow off. Dab it on the paper towel. I don't want to leave it in the water, but I do want to get the paint off. This is going to be, if you would like to jump to the next step, go ahead and grab a blow dryer and make sure this front is blow dried. Again, I'm going to go ahead and just stick it outside so I have some time for it to dry. So make sure this layer is dried before we move on. Now that this layer has dried, your chalk is going to be the next step. So you got to make sure that the first layer is completely dry. So chalk, we are going to draw out our line. Now this, you could change it vertical or horizontal, however you would like. I think I may go horizontal. I was going to go vertical, but I think I've changed my mind. So the first shape is going to be a circle. Now you don't want to go too big because we are going to add some things around our lion. I hope you can see this. So that is his head, and then we're going to have his little ears come off. And then we're going to add a little crown. So I'm going to do 2 diagonals lines up and then a zigzag. This chalk and paint are not working together very well. So just a circle, 2 U's, and then 2 diagonals and a zigzag. Now the face I'm not going to draw because we're going to do that with the permanent marker at the end, but I am going to draw the hair, which is just bumps going around. And then over that. And then the body, whatever room I have left, I'm just going to draw 2 lines going down. Again, if you can't see this very well, I do have a handout that goes through the step-by-step drawing so you can see it. Chalk is done. I'm going to put that away. And then we're going to move on to our next paintbrush. This is the round brush. I'm going to be using the orange to do his hair. I don't want to go in the ears or the crown. So I'm going to start there and I'm just going to outline it. So I know I don't want to do that. And then I'm going to go around his face. There. And then it kind of knows that I'm going to fill in the rest. And the good thing about chalk, if you draw it and you don't like what you drew, you can just take a paper towel and wipe it off and draw it again. It's just temporary. And you can see I'm following the curve and then I'm kind of filling it in. Follow the curve. I do want to cover the chalk up. That's my goal. I don't want to leave. You can wipe it off when you're done, but it's easier just to paint right over it. Now I'm going to take my brush, go ahead and bounce it off the bottom to get all the paint off. Dab it on the paper towel. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of that deep yellow and a little bit of the orange, and I'm going to mix it a little bit. I don't want to have the same shade as the hair, and I don't want to have the same shade as the thing. And I'm going to add 2 circles for the cheeks. And you can draw them out with your chalk if you don't feel comfortable painting them. Okay. And then I'm going to take that same color, I'm going to go below and just fill in where the body part is with that lighter version of the, I go wash this off. Again, dab it on the paper towel. I'm going to leave that there. This layer needs to blow dry before we use our yellow for the crown, and then use our permanent marker to add the details of the inside of the ears, the nose, and all the other lion parts. So again, blow dry if you want to move on quickly. If you don't want to move quickly, just lay it outside or just let it sit there and dry. My second layer has dried. I'm going to make sure that my round brush is clean. I'm going to use the yellow, the brighter yellow for his little crown. And the thing about yellow is if you don't really get a good yellow, it's hard to see. Now, the permanent marker, we have to let that little crown dry before we move on. So while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and clean my space because all I need is the permanent marker. The paper towel, first of all, your cup of water. If it's a disposable cup, you're going to dump your water in the sink and then throw your cup away. If it's not disposable, don't throw your cup away. My brushes, I'm going to put those so they can soak. So make sure you know where they're going to soak. Then I can go ahead and get my plate and my paper towel, throw these 2 items in the trash, and then go ahead and let this layer dry before I move to my last step, which is the permanent marker. Okay, the last step is adding your permanent marker. So again, you have to make sure you have a good one. Let me switch out. I don't think I have my best one because if it's not new, then it probably won't work as well. So the first thing we're going to do is his nose. So we're going to do 2 lines coming down right in between his cheeks. And they're kind of diagonal, coming closer together. And then we're going to draw a straight line across. And then a U. And then we're going to color it in. And then coming off his nose, we're going to draw a little straight line down. And then a little smile. Then his eyes, we're going to do a dot here. Make sure it's across. And then his cheeks, we're going to do his whiskers coming off. 1, 2, 3. Add some little dots right here.
4 on each side. And then his ears. Now, this is where the chalk, you can wait. I kind of don't like wiping the chalk off too early because sometimes we think it's dry and it's not quite dry. So you kind of have to be careful. But we're going to go ahead, trace the lines. Sometimes the chalk prevents my marker from working, so you kind of have to be careful. And the inside of the ear, draw a U, the straight line. Then we're going to outline his mane. And the last step, we're going to add some lines going from his face to his mane. Just kind of sporadic. Not a lot. Okay, now you have your cute little lion. So before you finish, remember your initials, find the bottom corner, and assign your artwork. Then make sure you got your marker closed, that put up, and your lion paint along as is complete.
All right, guys, thanks you for joining me as we did this little cute lion paint along. I hope you share your creations with me.